Here we are.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
It's Thursday. See what I did today? Came in early so I could choose the chair.
You came in early. You got the chair
should be in the
first.
captain's chair.
Yes, you
I
got the
was
chair
in
first. Otherwise,
Yeah.
just fall back to old habits.
Right.
Wind
yeah,
up in the
It felt weird
old blue
being in
chair.
the captain's chair with the pastor
Yes.
sitting over here. It's like didn't feel right.
You know what? Here we are. Remember back in the good old days of long ago, I think we used to leave this chair empty and the two of us would sit on this
We
chair
would sit over here, yes.
Something like that.
Yeah, we had 3
Just for
chairs
fun.
sitting here. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, well, sorry, Pastor Ben, we're enjoying your chair.
It's a good
Yes.
chair.
I believe we
I
have
don't enjoy the pillows though.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who bought them. I hope
Yes.
I'm not offending anyone. Did you?
I don't. You're not
Say what?
offending me.
I don't know who bought the pillows, but I hope I'm not offending
Oh,
anyone.
I did.
Oh, I love them. They're lovely. They're so
My
comfortable.
contra-
Thank you,
Philip
Philip.
Fortenberry for the pillows.
Yeah.
That's his name embroidered on each one.
Yeah.
But I do believe we have a word for Pastor Ben coming up. Well, not right now. I just wanted to make sure that you
Okay.
had it. We didn't get a chance to check, but I believe that will be coming up later.
Excellent.
But
What else?
I think
Today's Thursday.
today is Thursday. So, yeah, we had youth were here last night.
How'd that
was
go?
That was a good crowd.
I was
some
here
new people
2
coming in.
Wednesdays ago, and it was very exciting being in the building with so many people on a weeknight. I came
Yeah.
in to do the tile.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to. Ann had asked me. Ann was out of town and said, "Can you go and do one more tile?" So I did one for the LGBTQ plus ministry.
Okay, cool.
But it was just fun being around that. There were loads of people here.
Yeah.
Everybody was excited. Kids were running around loud. Families were all
It's
here.
been a
It
fun
was-
energy.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I certainly appreciate it. I know it's a little bit louder than perhaps other
As it
times
should
we
be.
just had Bible study, but it gets pretty quiet when they shut the doors for Bible study.
Yeah.
It's quiet in there. There's plenty of room for kids, and it's good energy for
Wouldn't
everybody.
it be cool on Sunday mornings if we all came in with that much energy?
Yeah, right.
It'd be great. Yeah.
Lots of fun.
I'd need more coffee.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
There are times that I feel like I'm a little bit up there with the energy, but
Yeah. Just out there having
yeah, it's
fun.
fun. It's fun seeing them all. There were
No,
a lot
it's
of
good.
people on Wednesday too that go to different worship services that I never get to see, so I got to see a bunch of people.
Yeah, no, and that's
And that
been
was
great
nice.
too to see everybody. It's kind of a time a night when everybody gets together, as opposed to if you only go to 9:30 or if you
Mhm.
only go to the 5 p.m. You often don't
Yeah.
see other people. So
It was great.
yeah, it's really good. So I think, well, why don't we check in with Pastor Ben, see how he's doing.
Well, hey there, everybody. Hope you're doing well. It's Thursday. I'm in Chicago, and I'm about ready to start my meetings. I got my credentials. Look at that. I'm all fancy, but things are going well, and I will keep you posted and updated on everything going on, but we'll begin here in a little bit, and I actually don't even know what to expect. So I'm going to give it my best shot, but I hope everything is well in Las Vegas. I can tell you Chicago is warmer than Wisconsin, but all was well with my dad and visiting with him, so that was good too. And look forward to next few days of meetings, and then I will be home, and that's where my heart is with all of you. So I hope all is going well, and if there's things I can share when I get back, I will. I know some of it's confidential, so we'll see, but I'll share what I can. But I think that is my update. So Brian, Bruce, Philip, tech team, church family, love you. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Now,
How
you know
about
what's
that?
funny? Okay, so he showed us the credentials.
Yes.
But he mentioned he was gonna do a video from the Homeland, or I forgot what he called it. You know, it was
yes.
something like that.
He was waiting to do the video until he got there.
We saw 2.5 tiles behind him
Yeah.
of some building. I was
I-
waiting to see like some of the meeting or something.
Yeah, I was
know,
kind of too.
Something.
He mentioned
or a
though that
selfie
it
with
got
the bishop.
yes.
That'd be good.
Yes, and I was kind of hoping for that too. I kind of had my expectations in
Right.
that area, but
It's good to know he's there safe.
he mentioned that it was a little more chaotic, busy, lots of people, and so I got to see some of the tiles from the building in Chicago.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I saw.
And you know where else we're going to teach Pastor Ben when he comes back?
Oh yeah.
When you take a selfie video, we have to show him where the camera is because he was looking off to the right. You know what I mean? And if you look at the if you look at the camera,
Look at
then
where the camera
he will be
is.
looking at us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just being picky.
I
now.
like it when he looks right at me.
That's well, it scares me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I want.
Exactly.
I want to feel that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we can teach him that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if he might be an old dog who won't learn new tricks.
Maybe. And I should say I did like the tiles.
They were
They
lovely.
looked very lovely.
At first, I because I didn't see the lines of it, and I'm like, is he in a cave? Like it looked like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It looked kind of weird to me. No. Philip's just looking at me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It looked like
Philip's
a
got a
cave
mic
to
today.
me, but
Philip will speak whenever he feels like
I
it.
do.
Is he on?
he's on.
Oh, turn him
How am I
up.
doing?
Huh?
How am I doing?
You're doing great. So he wouldn't come and like I was gonna offer to move a chair in here
crowded.
so he could sit with us, and
Too crowded. I like my space.
yeah,
I like my workstation over here.
that's good.
The piano.
Mm-hmm.
It says all I need to say.
Oh,
There
look
you
at
go.
that.
All right. So
Well, good.
all I need to say, and he gave one of these.
Yeah.
A tooth set.
But
So, what else we got?
Yes.
Today's Thursday.
yes, today's Thursday, and I think it's it's been a good day so far. I think we're rolling right along. Got lots of stuff cooking for the weeks to come. I mean, it is kind of hit the busy season. It's kind of
Yeah.
realizing that we're only, I mean, Thanksgiving is just a couple of weeks away, and
Yeah.
that's I haven't actually wrapped my mind around that.
We're
one yet.
within 2 months to Christmas. We're like a month and a
Yeah.
half
Yeah.
from that hole. You know what? You know what's interesting for me this year, and I'm okay with it. I'm normally planning ahead always,
Oh yeah.
and I'm done. So
Yeah,
I'm
that
like,
is a
normally,
change this
as soon
year.
as Reformation hits, I'm on Holy Week, Easter Sunday, and the Sunday after Easter. You know,
You have to be.
because we
Yeah,
did the
you have
big
to
music
kinda be-
then, and I have to know what's coming, and we get it planned out, and yeah. So now Reformation came and went, and I took a walk, and yeah. So it's kind of weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird not
Yeah.
doing the plan ahead, but
Because yeah, this is kind of the little breather where you're kind of sketching out
yeah,
the rest of the year.
right. So this is it's fun. It'll just be different.
It is different.
And I'm drinking more coffee.
Drink more
cheers.
coffee.
Oh,
Yes.
cheers.
So I love that. Well, it just and who knows? Who knows where the road leads? And
Exactly. That's the fun part.
open the
it's
door.
because really, you know what? When I decided to retire, I really thought. I don't know what I thought. I knew it was time. You know, you just get that feeling, and you're like, okay, it's time. I don't know what it's gonna bring. I mean, I know I'm gonna read a lot, and I know I'm gonna travel a lot. But there's other stuff. I'm not gonna be busy anymore. I'm not gonna be as busy as I've always made myself throughout my whole career. I'm going to
Yeah.
calm it down. And
And-
sometimes when people ask me to do things, I'm going to say no.
Right.
What's the saying?
I don't remember.
No is, well, I'll get it on a T-shirt. And we have
Yeah.
Talk about letting go of the need to explain
Oh, that's it. That's the one
or
I like.
defend. Yeah.
Kim
Why
Glenn.
you're why no.
Oh.
Kim Glennie said you have to let go of the need to explain. So if I say no, I don't need to tell you why I'm saying no. If you ask me to do something and I say no, I should be able to just leave it like that, right?
Yeah. Just leave it
But
like that.
I
Or
have that-
whatever reason is
That's
is
my reason.
acceptable.
Right.
Like it's your reason.
And the
Like,
person asking me
if it's,
really
if
wants-
it's important for you to rearrange your sock drawer, well, that's my reason, and
That's-
I'm perfectly okay with
Exactly.
that. I don't
But also,
need to
you also
judge
don't
that.
need to even need to
Yeah.
know that because every time you've asked me to do anything with the youth, you've asked me on the date I'm rearranging my sock drawer.
I
so I've
know.
always shared that with
And
you.
you
but
always feel guilty about it. And
I
you don't have to
do.
feel guilty
I
about
know.
it.
I can just
it's
say,
just like,
no.
that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm rearranging sock drawers that
But
day.
watch, next year you're going to plan the Disney trip, and I'm going to be, Pastor Brian, can I go? and then you'll go, no. Rearrange your sock drawer. For
Go, yes, right? Well, it is. I mean, the idea of surrender. I mean, that it really is something that breaks into every layer of our lives. There's so much that I don't know where everybody's at when we hear this sermon series on I surrender. But it is something that if you start diving into it, it breaks into every layer of our lives. It really just seeing surrender that way, seeing surrender as not just a giving up and rolling over and I quit, but I'm changing to I'm pouring myself into what is next, what's becoming, what is, and not holding back, just surrendering to what is.
Surrendering
where God
to
is.
not knowing everything.
Yeah.
We're so programmed to be in control, or to think we're in control.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least I am. I know. I mean, I'm a control freak, and I know that there's a lot of problems with that. But that's just the way I've always been. But that surrendering into I don't have control over everything
Mm-hmm.
is something you have to get used to. But it's a good thing, you know. And the same thing too. I mean, that with letting go of the need to explain to people. I mean, I personally, I get worried about, am I gonna, are you really gonna be upset with me if I don't go to,
Mhm.
and I don't
Yeah.
want you,
I think
especially.
I think that's
you know what
not
I mean?
uncommon for
So
everybody.
I don't
to,
like people to be upset with me or people
Yes.
to. I want everybody to like
Yeah.
me.
Right. I have to give the excuse, and the excuse has to be the right excuse, and it
Right.
has to.
And it's
Yeah.
hard.
Even though that's not where I'm called at that moment.
Right. And we all can't do anything. And what we do have to learn too is, I guess, when I say no to doing something, it's an opportunity for someone else to say yes. And it might be a pain in the neck for the
Ooh.
person asking, but if it's not my thing to do something in this time, it is somebody else's.
Yeah.
And that's important, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's a good excuse to get me out of feeling badly.
Well, we can't live our lives just holding on to all the what ifs, all the
Mm-hmm.
I should haves, all the expectations of other people. We can't live our lives with that.
Right.
It's not healthy for us. Not healthy for anybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't care.
Well, how about that? You don't
Hey.
care at all. I wish we had a song that expressed that sentiment.
Maybe we do. Let's see what comes up.
No. Let's see if they can find something that
Yeah, see if
fits
we
that.
can find- They say I'm crazy, got no sense, but I don't care. They may or may not mean offense, but I don't care. You see, I'm sort of independent. I am my own superintendent. My star is on the ascendant, that's why I don't care. I don't care what people think of me. I'm happy-go-lucky, some say that I'm plucky, so jolly and carefree. I don't care if I do get the mean and stony stare. If I'm not successful, I won't be distressful, 'cause I don't care. Some people say I think I'm it, but I don't care. They say they don't like me a bit, but I don't care. 'Cause my good nature's effervescing, in me there is no distressing. My spirit there is no oppressing, just 'cause I don't care. I don't care if people don't like me. I'll try to outlive it, of course I'll forgive it, and live contentedly. I don't care, nobody ever said that life is fair. There's no doubt about it, I'll sing it, I'll shout it, 'cause I don't care. I don't care what people think of me. I'm happy-go-lucky, some say that I'm plucky, so jolly and carefree. I don't care if I do get the mean and stony stare. There's no
a fun one.
I
think it
I
hit
don't
the
care.
mark. Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know where that song came from?
I don't know. I can't remember exactly who wrote it.
Okay.
But the first time I heard it, a friend of mine, Sierra Bogus, sang it, and I just thought it was a great song. And then I looked into it further, and there's a very hilarious video of Judy Garland singing that song and whipping around her mic cord and just acting really goofy and fun.
Wow.
But it's a fun. There's 20 verses to this.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah, it just goes on and on and on with all these different situations where you could end up not caring.
I don't care.
And if I were to do all 20 verses, let's just say I wouldn't care to do that.
You wouldn't care to do that.
No.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, short and to the point.
Short and to the point.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's it's an interesting concept, right? Like this idea of not caring. I mean, it's something that when we look at our world, we tend to care about all the wrong things, all the stuff we should say. That doesn't matter. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
We tend to care about those things, and sometimes it's the things that we should be caring about that I really should take that in, hold on to that good stuff. That's just, well, I don't have time for that.
But the other stuff gets in the way of the important stuff a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, and I'm always speaking
yeah.
for myself when I say that. But it's it's so funny. My brother bought me a mug many years ago that said something to the effect of, and it's just to think when things are piling up, or problems are festering, and it said something like, "Will I care about this in a year from now?" Because
Yeah.
in the moment we get very caught up in things, and a lot of times I'm one that I do writing and then look back at it a year or two later,
Yeah.
and it's amazing what you can be so upset about and so consumed with, and a year later you don't even remember it, or oh, it wasn't that big of a deal, or oh wow, that solved itself so nicely. Why was I that upset? And
Yeah.
It's interesting.
But in the moment, that's all you can see. It's just this tiny little image of, but you're focused on it.
Yeah.
Can't get it out of the way, and can't let it go.
Right.
Yeah.
And many of us are people pleasers, and sometimes when we get so obsessed with people pleasing, that gets in the way of everything. And
Yeah.
it's one it's just one of those things. I like to make people happy if that's possible, but I can't get consumed with the idea that I can't make everyone happy.
Right. We can get consumed about any little thing, right?
Right.
Like we can get consumed about whatever it is, and people pleasing seems like it's one of the good ones, and so that's where the temptation is, because it seems like, well, I'm drawn into really something that is a good thing, but just doing it for the pleasing of people, that's sake, that's still not good for anybody. It's not
No.
good for us. It's not good for the other person.
Right.
It's not good for anybody.
It's a hard habit to break. I mean, I think
Yeah.
But we all just do the best we can.
We all just do the best we can, and that's where the song, kind of a fun way,
Yeah.
just reminds us, take it a little lightheartedly, and dance around, throw your microphone everywhere.
Exactly. Why
Yes.
not?
Why not?
Just
Yes.
have fun.
Just have fun.
Yeah. I love that because we're doing this in the show tonight, but I talk about it was a few years ago. A good friend of mine gave me a saying to remember that if people are saying bad things about you or saying bad things to you, or if your own inner voice tells you bad things about you, he gave me this saying, and this simple saying is, "What you think of me is none of my business." And it's such a good. I mean, that one, when I remember to think that way, it helps me in big ways not to get consumed with what others think or try to be a people pleaser over everything else. And, because many times people will give us opinions when we didn't ask for them.
Yes.
And I think most times people are doing their best to be helpful and kind. But sometimes I just have to smile and go, what you think of me is none of my business, I don't often say it out loud, I just think it.
Yeah, but it's that that offers a little bit of liberation, a little bit of freedom
Mm-hmm.
for each one of us to say, yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's their thoughts. That's not about. Yeah, they can
Yeah.
have that. That's not on
Right.
me.
It's
Yeah.
very it's a weird thing, but
Yeah, it's important.
yeah.
So the biblical idea of looking up our Bible verse today on don't care.
I don't care.
Yes.
When did Jesus say I don't care?
Yes. When did he talk about I don't care about that? Actually, and there are several times. I know this week even we're talking about we're going to be talking about a story when some people come up to Jesus arguing about tell them to arguing about their inheritance back and forth. Jesus, tell them. Jesus basically says, I don't care. Like, who made me the judge and arbiter over you? Like, not my job.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing is not healthy. So it is there in surprising ways because we don't think of it. I mean, at least I didn't.
Right.
I don't think of the I don't care moments because so obsessed with, I've got to get it all right. And Jesus always got it all right. Jesus always did all this. And there were some things where Jesus was like, you need to handle that. That's on you. And you need to figure that out.
And he gives us great parameters to figure things out for ourselves.
Yes.
But
In
it's
a
sometimes
grace-filled way.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
a love-filled way, right.
Right. And so just finding that and looking for that throughout all of Scripture. Says going back to on Tuesday we talked in Ecclesiastes.
Mhm.
That was a time for everything
Yeah.
and a place for everything under the sun. Well, in Ecclesiastes, one of the themes that keeps showing up, and it's you get the idea that this is the author's his reason for writing the book is that this idea torments him. He in chapter 4, verse 4, the author, the teacher, perhaps King Solomon or whoever this teacher is, says, I saw all the toil and achievement spring from one person's envy to another, and this too is meaningless, chasing after wind. And him pausing, looking out at the world and seeing everybody chasing after what he says, chasing after riches, chasing after what? He calls it chasing after wind. He says, everybody doing this. And he says it's meaningless. You're spending your days chasing after wind. And Ecclesiastes, he doesn't have the perfect answer. He writes this poetic book just to bring awareness, to open our eyes to how are we spending our time? And what are we living in? What are we chasing after?
Yeah.
What are we surrounding and filling ourselves with? And so
And it's great contemplation for any of us. You know what I mean? Like, those are great questions to ask
it is
to really figure out if we want to be consumed with those weird, horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
They're not always horrible things. They're just, sometimes they're small things.
Sometimes they're small things, sometimes they're whatever they are.
Solomon was David's son, right? King David's son?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
it's kind of fitting, too, that
So-
if that was written by Solomon, because I love so many of the questions that David, if you look at the Psalms and everything, and David was so painfully honest, which also then gives us the
Yeah.
opportunity to say, okay, we can also be painfully honest when talking to God and trying to work things out. But I think it's interesting then that, because David was also known as a man after God's own heart,
Yes.
and so many of the questions can be considered our paths to looking for God's heart in it.
Yeah.
And putting away the little stuff helps us to stay more mindful of,
Mhm.
where does love and grace fit into it all, and what is really most important.
Yeah. What is that? What is that idea and turning to that? And
Yeah.
what does that look like? I think that's. David was just a very interesting person, but that vulnerability that he had.
Yeah.
That really.
And I
did
think in
set him
these
apart.
questions, if it was Solomon, I mean,
Mhm.
it's sort of, okay, it's similar to what his dad was
Yeah.
struggling with at times, different things that
Yeah.
within
Right.
in that also. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So another verse this one's from Galatians chapter 1. So here's Paul
Uh-huh.
writing in Galatians in his letter that really he's talking about grace
Yes.
and perhaps a little bit of talking about I don't really care about. But let's see. Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ.
And he wrote a lot of things that he didn't care what anybody thought.
He didn't care what people thought. And so it really took that. He was not holding on to those words,
Right.
what people who said, what they said about him, all of that.
Yeah.
I'm not holding on
Even
to that.
before his conversion, though. I mean, he was misguided, I
Mm-hmm.
think, but he also just didn't care. I mean, he went after what he was going to do,
Yeah.
and he was a bit of a steamroller.
Bit of a
you know.
steamroller.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's interesting. I like a.
Galatians right there.
Yep.
Yes. And then from 1 Peter says this, keep your conscience clear. If people speak against you, they will be ashamed when they see your good life you live because you belong to Christ. So don't worry about what they're saying. Just follow your conscience. Follow what's on your heart.
Yeah.
Follow what matters. Live by that and trust in that. Trust in that path of following God. And, other people they're allowed to have their own opinion, their own thoughts about you.
And many people are going to state them.
And many people are going to state them. But keep your own conscience clear.
Yeah.
Follow your own heart is the way I read that.
Yeah.
And live by that.
That's a
Right?
great encouragement, I
Yeah,
think.
I think so
that's,
too. Yeah.
yeah.
You don't need to hold on to what they say. I mean, you can't. Yeah, do it.
Right.
Do it for what your heart is telling you to do.
Mhm.
And then the famous one from Jesus, and this comes from the line in here where, well, as you sing it, I don't care if people don't like me. I'll try to outlive it. I know I'll forgive it and live contentedly. And I mean, there's a lot of depth to that line, and it's a fun song right there. But I mean, if we can actually live it in that sense, because sometimes we can say, or I have said, I should say again, like, oh, I don't care what that person thinks, but I'm making sure they know that they can hear me when I say that, so that I can tell
Right.
them, oh, I don't care. I want them to hear it. I want them to hold on to that. Like I want them to carry that baggage now, and it's just like that sense of bringing forgiveness into it. People don't like me. I'll live it, forgive it,
Right.
and I think that.
And forgiving doesn't always mean saying that that person was right or saying that what they did or anything was right. It's letting it out of our being. It's I can stew on things if I want of what other people have said or done or whatever is in my mind.
Yeah.
But forgiving it is a gift to myself. And that's as much, the other person might not even know that you've forgiven it.
Yeah.
But if we can let it out of our systems.
Yeah, like an honest, like when God says, "I forgive you," your sins are parted from me as far as the east is from the west. When God says, "I don't care about your sins anymore," it's not God's holding on to it and like reminding you, "Hey, remember what I don't care about," and look what you've done. It's not that.
Right.
It's this separation. And Luke chapter 6, Jesus says, "Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven." And once again, it starts with where we're at. It starts with, I'm not going to be the one to judge. I'm not going to be the one to condemn. I'm not going to be I am going to be this person who offers forgiveness. And we do it for ourselves. And then there is that part to the scriptures is having that bit of faith that, because we can't do it expecting anything in return.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bible is telling us that there is something that is returning in this world. It might not be from that person who we want to hear it, but by offering that forgiveness into the world, however it gets transformed, whatever, the Bible tells us there's something there,
Right.
to be returned, to find that.
And Jesus teaches us to pray, forgive us our trespasses as we
Yes.
forgive those who trespass against us. And it's so easy to take that prayer that we say every Sunday, and many of us say it every day, and just fly through those words and don't think about it. But for me, I need to concentrate on that line a lot, because if I'm holding on to things from other people, again, it's not about making them feel any way, either way.
Yeah.
But I have to remember that I'm forgiven, so it's okay for me to let go of the other stuff. And I'm forgiven as I forgive those who trespass against me.
Yeah.
And that's sort of it's a great acceptance of what Jesus wants to give me, and then in Jesus' own prayer writing, he's making me also make a deal with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You forgive me, I'll forgive.
Yeah, I'm part of this.
You know, and that's
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah.
remember, or easy. I should say it's easy to ignore.
Right. Right. And
I'm
and
forgiven,
it's-
so I'm okay. We don't have to talk about anything else. You know, it's like, all
Right.
right, I don't have to think
right.
about anything
And
else.
and near that passage in Matthew's gospel, Jesus actually talks about how when you go to offer your sacrifice, or for us to go to worship,
Mm-hmm.
if you go there and you realize that you have something against a brother or sister of yours, before you go and you worship, go fix that. Go and resolve that with your brother, your sister, whatever that is, your friend in Christ.
Yeah.
And then you're there to worship.
Right.
But don't hold on to that. It can't work. It can't work to come and worship when you're holding on to all of that.
Right. So true.
And I think there's so much, and but a fun song that really speaks to something that just maybe a surprise that you wouldn't think. The Bible talks about don't care, who cares, but and certainly there are unhealthy ways and healthy ways for everything,
Right.
and to look at, okay, what in our lives.
And
Do
it's
we
fun to
need
look
to-
at something goofy to come up with
Yes.
lessons that help us.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, what in our lives do we just need to let go of, especially
Yeah.
think about during this month, during our Surrender sermon
Yeah.
series. So, well, with
Great.
that, I think we're about ready. So,
Okay, we have Robbie tomorrow.
Robbie will be back tomorrow at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have worship services starting at 5 on Saturday, and then 8, 9:30, 11, and then 2 p.m. concert.
Yes, we're going to observe Veterans Day, which is Saturday, but we're observing it here on Sunday with the TAPS concert. TAPS is an organization that's dedicated to having live trumpeters play at veterans' funerals. And so some of the greatest instrumentalists and really fun singers, we're going to have a good time on Sunday, and just to raise money for this organization. But it's a way also to enjoy ourselves as we remember our veterans.
Yeah. So that's always important, and especially this time of year, to
Yeah.
take a moment
Yeah.
for that.
And it's a free
as well.
concert. So
That's
please,
right.
everybody come, and then if you can donate something to the organization, great.
Yes. Very good. Very good. And any more tickets for your Spotlight Cabaret?
Yes, we do have a small number of tickets left, so that's for next Friday night.
Okay.
And
But it
There's
looks like it'll
information
sell
in-
out soon, right?
yeah, looks if anybody wants their tickets, I will get them by Monday.
Yeah.
I'd say
Okay.
maybe Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's a good idea to get them ahead of time.
Okay.
If every time we sell out, there's always a few disappointed people on the other side, and we just can't fit more people in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't want to
And
leave
it's
anybody
such
out.
a neat space
Oh, yeah.
in that area. So
And this concert that Philip and Becky are doing is just, it's wonderful music. It's stuff that a lot of us are going to know. And when those two get together to create a cabaret like this, it's often brilliant. This is going to be something, and it's the first time it's ever being performed. It'll be right here in our fellowship hall.
I
So,
love it. I
see
love
it.
it.
Come
So,
see it.
That's wonderful. Okay. Well, with that, I think we are ready. So Philip's at the keyboard. So Philip, play us out.